Hello, welcome to my Facebook Live. Today is Monday, September 12th, and today I am doing my monthly card class that's online. It's free for anyone to watch and join us. So if you're joining, say hello. Let me know who's here and where you're joining from. Today I'm going to be featuring the Hello Harvest stamp set and the coordinating dies. This is a great stamp set for fall. You can use it for Thanksgiving, fall. It's got some sunflowers in here, which are really popular right now. So I think it's a great set, and it has some coordinating designer series paper that I'm going to show you. And I'm going to also do a fun technique and share the leaf label and amber gem combo pack. We're going to use that on one of the cards. So, sorry, my cat's saying hello too. Hi, Maya. Hold on, let me put her on her post. Nope. Okay, so if you're joining, say hello. As always, if you'd like to get the make and take kit for all the cards I'm going to show today, you can place an online order using this Hostess code. $35 or more, you'll get the make and take kit. If you spend $50 or more, you'll get the make and take kit plus my monthly tutorial bundle for free. So I'll have this posted along with the video. Okay, so we are featuring this stamp set this month. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and get started. So this stamp set, it comes with all the stamps. Again, it comes with the sunflowers. And then it also comes with the coordinating dies. So it has dies to punch out the pumpkin. It has dies to punch out the flowers, the banner. If you didn't get the dies with it, those are easily cut with your paper snips. But it also has these other images that you can actually die cut a pumpkin. So that's kind of fun. And I love that Stampin' Up! When they have little pieces like this is the greenery that goes with the pumpkin, that they have multiple pieces, so you only have to run it through once, one pass, and you can get several pieces. So for one run through, we would get the stem plus 3 of the little vine pieces rather than having to run it through 3 separate times. So that's fun. So let's go ahead and get started because I have a lot to show you. And I only have an hour to do it. So the first card that I'm going to make is this one. Pretty simple stamping. There is a leaf that comes in here. So for this one, I'm going to use some pretty common fall colors. So we have Old Olive. And I'm using my ink pads. If you didn't have ink pads, you could use markers. Okay. Using crushed curry and then the pumpkin pie. Okay. And one of the things I love about fall, I don't use very vanilla very often except in the fall. I'm not sure what it is, but that's when I use it most. So 3 of my cards today use very vanilla as the base. Okay. So something I wanted to share also, if you get my card kit for this month, anything that can be die cut before stamping, it will be die cut for you. If it's something that needs to be stamped and then die cut, you'll get a piece of scrap paper to do that. So, okay. So if you're joining, say hello. So for this card, I'm starting out with the background on soft suede, and I used the, I looked up the name before I started. It's the embossing folder that looks like the wood grain. Okay, so I just ran that through for the soft suede. This one I ran up and down. This one I ran lengthwise. So it doesn't matter. We'll get 2 different looks. And then I have a piece of very vanilla cardstock here that I'm going to stamp on. Okay, and so I'm going to start with my lightest color, which is the crushed curry, and I'm just going to come in and just stamp randomly. I like to start with the simpler cards first, kind of gets my mojo going. Make sure to turn these different directions. And then I got a line there, so I'm going to actually turn it over. Okay. So do that. The crushed curry, and then the old olive. Okay. I'm done with these ink pads, and so for my sentiment I'm actually going to be using the leaf label and amber gem combo pack. So these come in the holiday catalog, and you get several of these little leaf shapes, and you get the amber gems. So on this I'm just going to stamp my sentiment in the crushed or soft suede onto the leaf, and this one says "You Are Missed." Okay. And then we're ready to assemble. So I have my base and my soft suede layer. And I'll place that on top. And then the leaves. And then for this one, I'm going to use dimensionals just to pop it up. And so if you're joining, say hello so I know who's watching. And these do have a hole in them, and you'll see how I'm going to cover that up. But you could make them into tags with that, so that makes it kind of easy. Okay. So I'm going to put that right there, and then add some of the gems. And these gems are not like any color that we have in the catalog, so it's kind of fun when you get these in the kit. And then we'll just sprinkle those about. And there's our first card. What do you think? So fun, easy one to start with. And we're going to use these on another card, so I'll leave those out. Okay. Alrighty. So the next one I'm going to show you is this one here. So this uses the Designer Series paper that coordinates with this bundle. And it is called the Rustic Harvest. And I like this one because it has all of these dark, rich colors. And so one side of the paper has all the colors, and then the back side is black and white. So each sheet is like that in the whole in the whole package of paper. So the one that we're using for this card is this one here, and this is the back side. And then we're also going to use, make another card. This is the colored side, and it's going to use the black and white side. So that's the Rustic Harvest Designer Series paper that coordinates with this bundle. And because this bundle is so versatile, you can use it in September, October, November. Okay. So for this card, we are going to start out, I'm going to just set it right here. So for this card, we're going to start it with a vanilla base. I have a layer of the soft suede again. Okay. This is a layer of our Designer Series paper, and I just cut these 1/4 of an inch in from our base. And we are going to make a pumpkin, and it's not going to be your traditional color. I'm using the Mary Merlot. I wanted to kind of mix it up and pull out some of the other colors in this paper. So we're using the Mary Merlot for the pumpkin, and then we're using the Mossy Meadow for the stem and all of that. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside, and I actually brought my little machine so I could do this while you're watching. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to stamp our sentiment on some vanilla cardstock, and I've already done that because we need to cut it out. Okay, so this has a die. If you didn't get the die set, it's not very difficult to fussy cut, but I do have the dies, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. This is the mini Stamp and Emboss machine, and so this one fits really nice on a desk. If you don't have a lot of room or you travel a lot, this is a great option. And so we're just going to put that in. Some people say they have trouble with this. I find if you offset the plates that it goes right through for me. I don't normally have this white piece of paper on my desk, but one of the cards gets messy, so that's why it's kind of moving around. And then it die cuts this out for us. Okay, and then we are going to die cut out the pumpkins using these pieces. So these pieces are going to cut out the shapes, and they're going to put some texture on them. Okay, so the first one's the Mary Merlot, and so this one, I felt like it had 2 of these, but I might be missing one. I'm not sure. If not, we're just going to run that through twice. I couldn't find the second one, and honestly, I did these this morning. I designed them this morning, and I can't remember if I had to. So, okay. So run that through. And then we'll do one more of the Mary Merlot. Sorry, this is going to be difficult because I'm doing it live now. Okay. So we have that, and just because I have the dies out, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to need an orange one for another card that we're going to do, so I'm going to do that one as well. In the meantime, I know there's people watching, so if you're watching, say hello. Do you all have this set yet? Is it on your wish list? Have you thought about it? Are you not sure? Feels a little creepy knowing there's people watching and not saying anything. Okay. No? No one wants to say anything? Okay. Alright. That's fine. Okay. Alright, and we need one more of these. And I have just enough. And then we're going to do our greenery, which are these pieces here. And I'm going to do it, I'll run it through once. I won't have enough of this paper to do it twice, but this machine was working for me all morning. Now it's being difficult. I don't understand. Alright, we're just going to give up on this one, and we'll get the big one. Okay, so then we have these little pieces here. Okay, and we'll need those again, so I'll just set them there. All right. So we have our pieces for our pumpkin and our sentiment and then the stems and all of that. So we're ready to assemble this card. So I've pre-scored everything. And I'll just adhere my layers. I'm using Seal Plus. I prefer this over the Seal. It has little breaks in it. I'll show you. I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see the little breaks in it. It makes it, in my opinion, a lot easier to use. can choose which direction you want this to be. I think either way, some of the pumpkins are going to be upside down, so I'll do it this way. Now, to assemble the pumpkin, you can make it 3D by using dimensionals. So the centerpiece would be popped up higher than the side pieces. So to do that, I use these little strips here. These are the adhesive strips. So if you've watched me before, you know that I love all the adhesive we have. I have it all. I use it all. It just depends on what I'm doing. So the wider end is going to be the bottom. So I just put these strips on the side, and then I can easily layer my side pieces in like that. Okay. And then I can take my stem and use my liquid adhesive. All right, so for our card, just put this down like so. And then our stem gets tucked in here. Okay, we can put it a little crooked if you want. They're not always perfectly straight, right? And then we'll just put our little vines randomly on here. And then for our sentiment, I am going to pop that up dimensionals. And I'm going to have this be in the center, like so. And then I think I'll have this third little vine be right down here. Just like so. And the liquid glue, when it dries, it'll dry clear. But so that's our second card. So let me know what you think. If you don't want to say anything, maybe give me a thumbs up or a heart if you like it. All right. Okay. Maybe it's just not showing me the comments. I don't know. If anybody's watching, you could say hello, say something, please. Then I would know if the comments are working or not. Maybe they're not working. But anyways, okay, so now we're going to go to the next card. And this one has the fun technique that I wanted to show you. And I played around with this a little bit this morning. There's probably a million ways to do this. I didn't look any of them up. I just played with what I had. So I'm going to show you how I did this, okay? So I'm not seeing any comments. So if you guys are commenting, for some reason I'm not seeing them, so I apologize. Maybe I'll see them afterwards and I can answer your questions then, okay? So for this card, we're going to, again, start out with a vanilla base. And I've pre-stamped these two images, and I've done them in Memento ink because I'm going to use my blends to color them. And then I have a piece of vellum, okay? So to do this, I am going to start with my vellum piece, which is going to be my background because it needs to dry for a minute, okay? So I'll show you how I did that. And I don't know if you can see on this card. Okay, so some people are saying they see the comments, but I'm not seeing them. So if you're asking questions, I apologize. Or if you're commenting, I'm not seeing them for some reason. So I'll check that later. But I don't know if you can see, but it kind of looks like watermarks on here. So I'm going to show you how I did that. Okay, So we're going to start with our blends, and for this one I am using So Saffron, Soft Suede, Mossy Meadow, and Cajun Craze. Okay, and I'm going to put these in order of the shades, so my darkest and my lightest, and I'm just going to use these ones, these colors on my background. I'll use these to color my this here. Okay, so to start on the background, let's move these. What I'm basically going to do is I'm going to color on here on the vellum with my blends, and then I am going to use my Aqua Painter here. This is an old one. I lost the lid, and I wrote on it alcohol because this is the one that I'm going to use with alcohol. I don't want to get it mixed up with my other ones. Okay, so I wrote alcohol on it, and I have just regular rubbing alcohol. It's a 70%. I know a lot of people use the 90%, but I didn't have that, so this is what I used. And I'm going to show you how I do this. So I'm just going to take the lid off, and I'm just going to set it over here. You could pour it in a little cup if you want, but I realized I didn't really need to do that. So to start, I am going to start with my lightest color at the top, and I'm using the thick end, and I'm just coloring this across. And I'm going to die cut this out with this die cut so that it's fully covered, so I don't have to go quite to the edges. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of go down and blend this color by color, and then I'm going to actually come back up. So you can see, because the color is still kind of wet, it's kind of blending. And then I'm actually going to use the lighter one in here. And then for the yellow, I'm going to kind of go darker here. Okay. And if I lay this over, I can see if I got it all, like everywhere that I'm going to cut, and I did. Okay. So, the next thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to let this dry for a minute. It's almost dry, and you can tell because you probably can't see on the video, but when I turn it, I can see that when it's wet, I can see it looks wet. Okay, so all right. So then what I'm going to do once it's dry is I'm just going to take my little painter. You could use a paintbrush. I'm going to stick it into my alcohol. I don't want it super wet, but just I want it wet, but not dripping wet. So see, it's not dripping, but when I flick it like this, it's going to put drops on there. It's a little hard to see. Okay. Okay, and I don't want too much. Like when we color, you can always add more color, but you can't take it away once it's on there. So I am going to leave that and see how it looks when it dries, and if it doesn't have enough effect, I'll add more. I will pull it up and show you, but I want it to dry. I don't want the alcohol to run. So I'm just going to set it to the side here, and then I'll show you as soon as it's dry, kind of the effect. Okay. So I apologize, I can't see your comments. I'm not sure why, but I'll figure it out for next time. And I promise I'll go back and read them. If you have questions, just put them in the comments. Okay. So then let's color. So the pumpkin, I'm going to do Cajun Craze, and when I'm using blends, I like to do the lightest color first. Some people like to start with the darker color. It's just preference. And You can get fancy with these. I haven't quite learned how to yet. But the thing that I love about the blends is you don't have to know a lot of techniques to make it look really pretty. So, if you have a hard time coloring or putting shading or things like that, blends, you really should try the blends because they make it easy. So here I'm just coloring the whole pumpkin with the lighter shade, and then I'm going to come in with the fine tip and see where all the lines are on the pumpkin that are already there. I'm just going to follow those, okay, and put some of my darker color in. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to come back in with my lighter one on the finer tip, and I'm going to kind of color that in and blend it, okay? And sometimes when it's still wet, it doesn't quite look, it looks a lot better when it dries. I'll just say that, okay? Now, something to remember too is like in between, you know, these are rounded edges on the pumpkin. So think about where you want your sun to come from. So usually I have my sun coming from here. So this will be my sun. So anything that the sun is shining on is not going to have a shadow, but everything else is going to have a shadow. So I'm going to have a shadow here. I'm going to have a shadow here. Okay. I might have a shadow right in here. Probably not in there, but I probably have a shadow on most of this side here. So I'm going to bring that out a little more. Okay. So the nice thing with the blends, you just add a little more color, and that's how you can create that dimension. Okay, so blends can be your friend if you're color challenged. So the stem, it's kind of hidden, but I feel like I have to color it, so do that. Okay, it's going to be hidden. So then I come in and do my flowers. So I start with my leaves. I'll do all my leaves. This is pretty fine, so I'm using the fine tip, and it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, if you make it not so perfect, then you don't have to be perfect on the whole thing, right? So if they all go out of the line, then it looks like you intentionally meant to do that, which I am. So it doesn't have to take forever. So then I'll do the flowers, and I'll start with the lighter color, and I'm going to do the centers with the darker of the saffron. So I'm just doing the outer right now. Oh, I forgot some leaves. Okay. Some more leaves. Okay. And then the darker saffron, we'll do the centers of the flowers. I'll do these little ones because they haven't bloomed yet, so they're usually darker. We'll add some darker color towards the center. If you really wanted to get into it, you could add a little bit of the Cajun right real close in here. And then come back in with so saffron, and kind of draw that out. And I'll show you on my original card, I didn't do that. So you can see, just by adding that third color on there, that Cajun, how much it makes those sunflowers pop. See, isn't that neat? Okay, and then I did the darker Cajun for these. I just put some dots on them, just so they'll kind of stand out. And then I did soft suede on these, just the centers, so it doesn't look like I forgot about them. Okay. All right, so here's my sheet, and I think you can see where I have the splotches, like where the alcohol went. Okay. And so then it's up to you where you want to cut, where you want your die cut to go. I will share, though, on this card, when I stamped the sentiment, I stamped it where I had the alcohol, and I waited until it dried, but it still smeared that. So that was with the memento. So you might want to try it with StazOn, or stamp it somewhere where there's not that alcohol splash. Okay. So I might actually reverse this card and stamp up here and then put my pumpkin over here so that I can have those over there. Okay, so I'm going to cut these really quick, and I'm going to use my big machine because my little one is being a pain. So here's this piece, okay, and then this will cut out the flowers, and this will cut out the pumpkin. But again, if you don't have the dies, they're pretty easily cut by hand. So that. I'm going to try to do this without washi tape. Fingers crossed they don't move. Okay. And they came out pretty good. This one moved a little, but it's okay. And since I have this out, I'm going to cut more of this for the last card that I'm going to do really quick, since I got the pumpkin already. I'll get these little pieces here. Let's see here. Figure out what fits where. Well, now that I know you guys were commenting, I'm really excited to go back and read the comments. So, thanks for joining me today. I know it's been a while since I went live. I'm going to try to be better about being more consistent. I've been pretty consistent on Mondays, but last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of stuff and traveling and stuff, so. Okay. I have little pieces here, but they're going to work because you'll see why. We're just going to make them work for sake of time. Okay. All right. And then I do have to keep it to an hour because I'm going to donate blood this evening at 5:15. So, luckily it's just right down the road. So it won't take me long to get there, but all right. Okay, so to assemble this card, I don't know where that came from. Again, we have our vanilla base, okay? So, do our vanilla base. Now, I tried putting a colored cardstock behind this, but you couldn't really see all the colors in it. So I like it just the way it is on the vanilla. Okay. So, and then I'm going to put a little glue where I know I'm going to put the pumpkin, so you won't see it. And then I'm going to tie a ribbon around it so it will hold the rest of it down. Oh, I didn't stamp my sentiment. So let's do that. I'm using the Memento Black because there's black. That's what I stamped these in. Okay. Let's hope this is straight. I think I can do it. I'm going to stamp it up here. Okay. And then, because that's stamped on vellum, it's going to take a little bit of time to dry. So I need to be careful not to touch it. Okay. So the ribbon I'm using is the Early Espresso Faux Suede. So if you haven't used this, it's fun to use. It's good for masculine cards. I like the color for the fall. So again, if you place an order and you get this kit, you will get the embellishments. So you will get a piece of this ribbon so you can kind of feel it if you like. If you don't have this bundle and you don't prefer to order it, you can use anything that you might have at home that's similar. If you're a regular stamper and you like fall, you probably have lots of pumpkins. So I was excited for this set because I didn't get any pumpkins last year, so I didn't have anything. So I told myself this year I'm getting pumpkins. So okay, so we're going to do that. Okay, and then we're going to put our pumpkin down, and I want to put it on dimensionals. I want it to be popped up. So, do this. And I'm going to put it just like so, and then the flowers are just going to go over the top. Okay, and I'm going to pop those up as well. Just like so. And then we'll just put some of the little rhinestones on it. And there you go. There's that one. It's not, I don't know if you can tell. I'll take photos of these maybe when I take photos, but I think you can kind of see the sunflowers, how this one pops a little more. So, oh, and on this one I tied a little bow with the linen thread. I'm not sure. I kind of like it without, but so there's that one. And we have one more card to share with you, which is this one. So this one's a little different. This is on a white base, okay, because I wanted to do something with the designer series paper, the black and white part, okay. So I paired it with a white base instead of the vanilla, okay. And then we have our pumpkin that we cut out of pumpkin pie cardstock, okay. And we have some of our stem. And then on this one, I used a little bit of different, I used this metallic mesh ribbon. So I see this used a lot with Halloween. But I thought it looked really nice with the black and white. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a piece of that. It's really easy to work with if you've never worked with it before. It's kind of the nice thing about getting this class to go. It has a lot of different embellishments that you can try out. Okay. So I am going to take my Seal Plus and put my Designer Series paper down on my Whisper White cardstock. And then I'm going to tie that mesh around. Just in a knot. And then I'll trim it up when I'm done. So on this one I tied a little bow with some white thread. I'm going to see what this looks like without it. And I just used one of my punches to punch a label. And then my Memento ink, again, because it's black, with the hello. And we'll stamp that right in the center. Okay, didn't come out crooked. That's good. All right. Okay. So then again, to build our pumpkin, I'm going to use these little strips here. Okay, and I just put one on each side. Find where the sticky side is here. You could use regular dimensionals if you don't have these. I just like to have lots of tools in my toolbox. Okay. Like so. Okay, and then with our stem, it didn't quite cut all of it, but I'm going to just put a little bit of glue right here. We're going to make it work. And stick it on there. A little crooked, so that's how they come. And then we'll put some adhesive on the back of these. And then stick that on where we want it. And then I only got one little vine that came out kind of good, so I'm just going to stick it right there on this one. And then for our sentiment, I'm going to put that, I think this one I won't put on dimensional, so I'll just leave it flat. And I'm tucking it kind of under the knot. Okay. And then trim this up. Just like so. So there you have a fall card that doesn't have your traditional like real gold colors, but it's fun. Again, this glue will dry clear. So then that's our last card. So I hope you like the cards that I shared today. Hopefully you learned something new. I can't wait. When I'm donating blood, I'm going to read your comments, okay? So, thanks for joining. If you have questions, reach out. You have until Wednesday to place the end of day on Wednesday. So today is Monday, end of day Wednesday. Use the Hostess code. Okay, so use this Hostess code and you'll get the make and take to make all of these cards for free. Again, anything that I can die cut that doesn't need to be stamped first, I will. If it needs to be stamped first, you'll get a scrap piece of paper. I can't stamp anything for you, so you either need to have the stamp set or you need to have something comparable that you want to use. If you do use something different, I'd love to see it. So I have my group, which is the ink pad. So if you're not a member of the ink pad, you should type that into your Facebook search and go over there and join. There's a couple questions that you need to answer, and then I will approve your request to join, just so we make sure that we don't have a bunch of spammers in the group. But you can post your projects in there, and I'd love to see them. And I always like to give out prizes for you know, random posting and stuff like that. So thanks for joining me tonight. Join me again next week at 4 o'clock. And until then, take care. Thanks, guys. Bye.